What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and today we have another brand new title update for Madden 20. Pretty significant update today. Not one of the biggest, but there's definitely a lot of stuff here to uncover. We've got some gameplay updates that are important. We've got some important franchise mode updates. We also got a new ability in the game. We've got some more player likeness updates and more. So we're going to cover all of that in today's video. If you are new to the channel and you always want to be up to date on all of these new updates, Madden news, Madden tips, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you never miss any of the uploads. So, we thought the update was coming Thursday. They always come out Thursday, usually every couple weeks. For whatever reason this time around, EA just changed it up. They didn't put it out on Thursday, and instead, here we are Monday morning. So, one of the key highlights in this update that they touched on was there is a new X Factor zone ability added to the game. It is called Momentum Shift. It's inspired by Ray Lewis. It says that it will knock all opponents out of the zone in addition to wiping all opponents' zone progress. Momentum Shift activates after 3 successful hit sticks on arcade and simulation, and on competitive game style, which is online, it needs to be 5 total hit sticks. So if you have a player with Momentum Shift and you land, let's just say for online, you land 5 successful hit sticks, if the other team has anybody that's in the zone, it's going to knock them out of the zone, and it's going to knock their progress out. So maybe you need like 3 catches of 20 yards to get in the zone. Maybe you have 2 out of those 3 catches. If your Momentum Shift activates, it wipes out those 2 out of 3 catches, and now he's back to 0. So this is also going to be in franchise mode. It says in franchise it's available for field general, middle linebackers, run support, free safeties, and run support, strong safeties. And Ultimate Team, it's available for just linebackers. And it also says here that all abilities from previous title updates are now supported in franchise mode, which you're going to touch on, I guess right now. We'll get into the franchise mode stuff. So it says all abilities added in the previous update are now available in new and existing franchise leagues. So the Most X Factor ability, all of the new run stopping abilities like Lumberjack, Out of My Way, goal line stuff, inside stuff, and no outsiders, those are now available in franchise. And the tank ability, which is kind of for like big tight ends, like big ball carrier type guys, any type of like a Rob Gronkowski type, that's now available. And they added a note here, and it says, as we were testing the previous update, we discovered a serious bug in our process which required us to remove the franchise data that supported the new abilities that were added in the other game modes. It says here that rather than removing them from the title update entirely, they chose to release them in the other modes, fix the bug, and then release the abilities in today's update instead. Moving forward, we are still committed to all modes getting the applicable content at the same time. So, sounds like, I mean, at least from what they're saying, it sounds like there was a bug, and that's why all the other modes got the new abilities and not franchise. But now that they've fixed the bug, going forward, anytime the game gets new abilities, franchise mode should get them as well. So it says that you can find these new abilities with new generated rookie classes and things of that nature. So that's pretty cool to see. Some other stuff for franchise, we did get some new scenarios added, which we knew was coming. We still don't have the 5th year options though. I'm not sure why that's taking so long. I honestly don't know. Thought it would be here by now. That's still not here, but they did add new game day scenarios around playoff scouting and the Super Bowl for new and existing franchise leagues. It says here that they also changed the coach preseason mentor scenarios so that they are no longer triggering on the same player year over year. And then they did some other just kind of clean up things with franchise, kind of some little bug things. But the main thing for franchises, got a few new scenarios, and they did, finally get the new abilities. And going forward, they should keep getting those abilities. Now, gameplay updates, we got a few important ones here. So they tuned the Most zoned ability. We got that in the last title update. A lot of people didn't like it because, at least competitively, it really doesn't have a place in the game. When you activate the Most ability, you can literally catch the ball over 5 or 6 people pretty much every time. You just can't defend it. And the thing was, it was so easy to get him in the zone. Well, now they have adjusted how, what you have to do to get the guy in the zone. So before, it was 2 catches of 20 plus yards. Now it's saying, or it was 3 catches of 20 plus yards. Now it's saying that it is 5 catches of 30 plus yards. Now, I don't know if they actually changed it to 30 plus yards, because here it's saying that before the update it was 3 catches of 30 plus yards, but in actuality in the game it was 20 plus yards. So I don't know if they actually made that trigger, but If they moved it from 3 catches to 5, that's a significant change. It's going to be a lot harder to get that guy in the zone now. I also think that's why they added momentum shift, is kind of like another band-aid for it. Like, well, if you put momentum shift on your defense, then, you know, you have that opportunity to knock people out of the zone a lot easier. Because once Moss got in the zone, there was really no way to get him out of it, because he was pretty much going to catch it every time, unless you just got extremely lucky. So we'll see how this works. I think they should have just tuned it to where if the guy had 3 people on him, he just shouldn't catch the ball. But at least they've made it harder to activate now, because it really was just too easy to activate it before. They also updated running animations for scrambling QBs, so maybe they don't look like idiots when they run now. That's what I'm thinking that means. I'll have to see for myself. They tuned to reduce the effectiveness of aggressive run blocking coach adjustment, which is fine. I do think a lot of people were starting to use that, and it didn't seem like they would get too many holding penalties for it, and it was almost impossible to like block shed against it, so we'll see how that works. They also tuned to reduce the frequency of AI-controlled players attempting strip tackles when using the aggressive strip ball coach adjustment. And they also reduced the chance of face mask penalties and broken tackles with that adjustment. So here's another coaching adjustment they touched, but this one doesn't really make much sense to me, because if you're putting your strip ball on aggressive, that means you want your AI to always go for the strip. And the counter to that is they're going to get more face masks, and there's going to be more broken tackles, because they're not going for the tackle, they're going for the ball. So they're subject to getting their tackle broken or potentially slipping up and face masking, right? So it kind of sounds like they reduced what aggressive strip ball is supposed to be, so why even put your strip ball on aggressive now? If they kind of took away both the positive and the negative of what it's supposed to be, it kind of just sounds like, why even use it? That's just what I think by reading it. I don't really use that adjustment, so it doesn't really matter too much to me, but is what it is. They also tuned to reduce stumbling on defenders after a turnover. That's always good to see. We hate stumbling after getting a turnover, so that's good. Here's a big one. One of the bigger gameplay things they did was they fixed an issue preventing zone coverage defenders from breaking into pursuit versus QB draw plays. So if you've played online especially, I'm sure you've run into somebody that does the QB draw out of like gun empty bunch, especially with a Lamar Jackson. You know, the QB draw is good in itself. You can outrun people with a guy like Lamar Jackson because he's so fast, but another huge issue with it was if you were any guy that was in zone defense, he would not really pursue the QB until he was already like so far past the line of scrimmage. Like they would literally back up and just keep dropping into their zone while the QB was just running straight at them, and that's what made it super overpowered. So now, you know, the QB draw is probably still going to be decent, but it isn't going to be nearly as good because the zone defenders are actually going to react now, so you're not going to have that in your favor anymore. They also fixed an issue here causing the deep middle third defender in a cover 3 to abandon his zone versus PA read plays. So that was definitely another issue. Glad that they tackled that. You didn't really see it as much because not a whole bunch of people were running PA read plays that often, but when you did, the deep third cover 3 guy would kind of like glitch out. Now they added a separate note here about playbooks. It said that they wanted to give a quick update on the status of the playbook updates, and it says playbooks are still a big part of our continuous development plan for Madden 20. And while we've already made some updates this year, our players have told us that they want more. We're excited to share that we have some significant playbook content in the works that should be ready for launch before the end of the calendar year, in addition to the regular playbook updates in the meantime. So before the game launched this year, they said that updating playbooks throughout the year was going to be a big thing. They wanted to do it at least a few times, like significant updates, and we haven't really seen that yet. We've seen a lot of little updates, little plays here and there added, which is cool, but no big updates yet. So what they're saying here is before the end of the year, we should get a pretty significant playbook update. So I'm glad to hear that. We definitely need it, and that should be good to see. Add some more flavor to the game, always good. Now, player likeness updates. They didn't do a whole bunch. I thought they would do more. They still have some guys that they haven't gotten in the game who they have their face scans, so I'm not sure what's the holdup, but they did add a few guys. Bears running back David Montgomery, the rookie. He's been getting the ball a little bit more lately. I think he's going to turn into be a pretty good player, but they finally got his face in the game. Looks pretty good. They also added another rookie running back, Tony Pollard of the Cowboys, so they got him in the game now, which is good to see. They added Jets linebacker Blake Cashman, so now he's looking good in the game. I think he is injured right now, but they got his likeness in the game. And they added Titans punter Brett Kern, one of the better punters in the league right now. They got his likeness on point as well now, so that's good to see there. Punters are people too. Then it says here they fixed an issue with the likeness of Buccaneers running back Peyton Barber. Not sure what this means. Maybe it's his facial hair or something else. I'm not really sure. I don't know what he looked like before, so if you're a Bucs fan, maybe you can tell me. And they also updated the hair for Julio Jones. I think maybe he still had his dreads, and they gave him the new haircut because he did cut his hair a while back. So now he's got his new hair there. And they also did some other little presentation updates, like they added updated the commentary a little bit. They added a new version of the Bears throwback helmet. They updated the stripes on the Titans home and away alternate uniforms. Little things like that. Nothing too crazy. Now, lastly, for Ultimate Team, they had some pretty significant updates here as well. One really big update. They added secondary positions for select players. And it says here, secondary positions allow users to substitute players with this capability into other positions and still have their chemistry count towards the lineup. The secondary position feature is only available on select power-ups and will open up after you consume the core elite or the legend version of the player. For example, Aaron Donald will have the option to be designated as either a left end or a DT once his power-up reaches the tier after placing in his core elite. Now, they have a full list of eligible players. I'll just read off real quick. Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, J.J. Watt, Harrison Smith, Jadeveon Clowney, Earl Thomas, Travis Kelce, Calais Campbell, Malcolm Jenkins, Levante David, Marshall Yanda, Leighton Vander Esch, Myles Garrett, Cameron Jordan, Ryan Kerrigan, Justin Houston, James White, Ale Marpet, Demarius Randall, Brandon Graham, Sean Lee, DeMarcus Lawrence, Melvin Ingram, Tyrann Mathieu, George Kittle, Darius Leonard, Devin McCourty, Joey Bosa, Terrell Suggs, Tariq Cohen, Ndamukong Suh, Mike Pouncey, Howie Long, Dan Dierdorf, Bruce Matthews, Derek Brooks, Ted Hendricks, Larry Allen, Rob Ninkovich, Pat Tillman, Ed Reed, Rob Gronkowski, Adrian Amos, Derwin James, Brian Dawkins, Julius Peppers, Troy Polamalu, and Ed Too Tall Jones. So basically, most of these players, what it means is, like, if he's a strong safety, you can put him at free safety in your lineup and it won't mess up the chemistries in Ultimate Team. If he's a left end, you can probably put him at right end, or if it's like an outside linebacker that's a pass rusher, sometimes you can put those guys down at defensive end now. Some safeties like Tyrann Mathieu and Devin McCourty, you can play them at cornerback if you want. Guys like Tariq Cohen and James White, you can actually put them as, and not many people would probably do this, but if you wanted to, you could put them as a wide receiver in your lineup because they do line up at wide receiver a lot for their team. So little things like that. Basically, they can kind of flip-flop around because sometimes you might already have a good left end, but you want another left end player, and so instead you want to play him at right end, but before it would mess up your chemistry. So now that won't happen. So that's a cool change. I'm glad that they did that. I think they should just make a lot of these things interchangeable. I don't think it should even just be certain players. It should just be interchangeable overall. But that's just my opinion, because it's a fantasy game mode, so why does it matter? And then, lastly, just this one last thing to touch on, Superstar KO mode, for those of you that play it, they did add new legends to the draft pool: Marvin Harrison, Deion Sanders, Troy Polamalu, and Ed Reed. So if you play that mode, there are some new legends there. So that's it for this update. Not one of the biggest ones, but it's significant. A few good gameplay and franchise updates, in my opinion. And the Ultimate Team update is really cool as well, I think, for the lineup. So that's all for today. Let me know what you guys thought, and as always, I will see you guys next time.